That was 60 years ago. They're letting that out quicker, 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 so that it just seems like, oh, look how smart we are. Look how smart we are. No, man, that's old stuff, right? And so, and also to pit on your point there, Ariel, the shaming is done. It doesn't affect anybody anymore. Back in I've said this before, right? I was naval intelligence for 9 years, and I've said this for a long time. The National Enquirer is and always has been a psyop, a CIA misinformation psyop, right? And it was funny. I don't know if you knew, about 3 or 4 years ago, the meme was going where the National Enquirer all of a sudden started telling the truth. I don't know if you guys saw that. Like, some of the biggest things that were happening, like this is the stuff that you would see in the grocery line, right? It was a pretty good meme, right?
Reality.
Yeah. So I think what you exactly how Ariel was describing it. You have these days where you go back and forth. It's over. It's done. It's not going to go back in the box. It's not, right, and it's not. And as things progress and get moving forward, the younger generation, like ourselves, when we come into power, we're more open to this, right? Like, no, like it's like this is more open to it. It's not. This is not. This is not something to fear. This is something that we need to be aware of. And I think it's gonna. I think that'll be the. I actually feel pretty positive about 2024. I do. Some weird stuff happened to me like right after the eclipse, so I made a post about it that I was like, man. Something changed in me. I don't know. Did you guys? I was actually disappointed that a portal didn't open up and Jesus come through, but I was like, at the same time, man, I was like, something happened to me on it. But so anyway,
Wow,
yeah.
fascinating.
But
No,
that's
I think
yeah, Chris.
I think you're exactly right, and I think it's hard for Ariel and myself because we are newbies to the topic, and
Mhm.
we didn't experience that shift for
Yeah.
people who have been
Yeah.
waiting for 40, 50 years, their
Oh
whole
yeah.
life
Yeah. So
for
so
it.
so
But
so
when we talk, every time we talk to them, Ariel, right, they do say they see a shift, they see a
yeah.
shift. So it's just hard for us to see it as newbies,
Oh, so you missed that on
you
the
know.
you missed that on the hate and the ridicule and how we were
We
still.
did,
You missed that
we
on that.
did.
Oh, it was good
I'm
times. Those were
sorry.
good. Those were good
I
times.
tell I tell everyone we're so, we may be unicorns, but we're lucky
Yeah,
unicorns
man. Some, yeah,
because
those were great
we
times.
we avoided all of that,
Yeah,
and
good
I
times.
feel really blessed that, and I feel like we're walking on the shoulders of giants who came before us, who have suffered
Right.
horrendously
Yeah.
under the ridicule and stigma, and that's like something I like am passionate about. Like I may not have to deal with that, but I
Yeah.
see the effects of people who have.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, so the thing that I see dying down now, right, is that, well, one of the reasons why the shift happened is I recently was exposed maybe 2 or 3 years ago to the book of Enoch. I don't know if you guys ever read that book before, right? Actually, this is a book I highly recommend. So it's the complete 54 book apocrypha. It's every book that was taken out of the Bible during the Council of Messina, right?
Yeah.
And Enoch was in there. And
I'm
so
aware of some of what's in there. I've never read it, but I'm definitely aware of the content.
okay, so a quick little sidebar here. Have you ever heard of the tablets? I forget what's called. Billy Carson talks to them a lot. The Mesopotamian tablets. They talk about the
Like
kings
Right,
the
of
yeah.
Israel.
original, the first
It's
tablets, right?
it's exactly it. So in the book of Enoch, it tells a story of these watcher angels that come down because they lust over our women, right? And that's a reoccurring theme in the UFO field too, and in the cryptid field. They always go after the women. I don't know if you guys have came across that or not, but like it's there. It's always the women, right? Yes, men get taken and men have the abduction stories, but it's very rare for a man to come back marked up. These women always come back with scars, something in their belly
Right.
button, something in their necks. The Kelly Cahill story out of Australia is a great story that the Cryptid Women's Society told me about. The Betty and Barney Hill story out of Buffalo came back. But it tells a story about these 200 angels that come down, find our women attractive, they mate with them, and they breed the Nephilim, right? The
Right.
Mesopotamian tablets tell the exact same story. It's the same story, except they have receipts. It's Enki and Enlil. They call them the Anunnaki, right? It's the exact same two stories. And that story is why the flood happened. And so And Enoch is not a nobody. He's a direct descendant from Adam, right? He's Methuselah's father, who is Noah's grandfather, right? Like, he is a somebody, right? And they snatched it out of there. And if you ever read the book of Genesis in the Bible, which I'm sure you guys have, the book of Enoch makes the book of Genesis make sense. It fills in the gaps, right? And so I didn't have that back in the day, right? So all I had was the Old Testament and the New Testament, and then you had you had story accounts, people saying, "Oh, what about this? What about that?" And I'm like, "Look, the Bible talks about giants. Literally, it talks about giants, right?" Well,
where'd they come? God,
yeah,
God and the daughter of man, right?
Yeah. So where'd they come from? Well, the Bible says these things called the Nephilim, or these things called, the Watchers, right? But it all makes sense. And so all that information has came out, man, and all that information is gone forward, and it just all ties our world history. And what used to baffle me is that I knew people that didn't think the earth flooded. like I knew people that like literally would think, like, "What are you talking about? A great flood came and took the whole planet out." And I'm like, "Yeah. Where does it say that? In the Bible." "Oh, you still read that?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, you can also read like several other creation myths, and they have the same flood story and the flood account.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.